Welcome back to Cosmic Conversations. I am your trippy tripsy, psychedelic psychopomp, Tahuti, Hermes, Trismegistus, and you are tapping into the root of the symmetry so you can tune in to the mind of Mercury as we have a meta conversation. So we all know here on Mercury that Tahuti, Hermes, Odin, Ningazita, Nabu, Idris, so many more messengers, Quetzalcoatl, they are all aspects of Metatron. So Metatron is the soul of Mercury that expresses his imagination into bodies at different points in time. So this is where the entire show Avatar got its concept from. Okay, so when you look at Avatar and you see that Aang is the newest avatar of his spirit, and all of the past avatars are connected by his space, therefore his soul can like meditate and then go learn from past hymns and keep connecting with himself and have his own truth. That's Mercury. So that's your Mercury. So that's when you see Mercury online, when you Google and learn about Mercury, all these messengers of Mercury are connected by one space. So they're all one spirit at different points in time. And this is why God calls Mercury the Spider-Man or the architect. And really, Spider-Man is the architect of the internet because Woden weaves the world wide webs that support spaces who don't support him. So again, Odin, Hermes, Tahuti, all Metatron, it's all Mercury. Now, we're having a meta conversation about something that I posted back in 2020. And I feel called to address this now in 2023 because it's been 3 years of us going through this plandemic that we are not allowed to talk about, but the government is allowed to tell us we're going through, and we're not allowed to object against, but the government can force us to get shot or else we lose our jobs. I made this post back in 2020 based on how this plandemic is clearly being used to shift wealth and shift control and create a much more militant martial law type world. So this is literally the whole point of the EU world order, the new world order. This is why they made up that there's something in the air that will kill you. And now everyone who's scared of the air, they are literally living in fear every day. And that is destroying health. Like just overall, as a human, if you're living in fear every day and you're scared of breathing, dude, at that point, esoterically, you have been trained to be scared of your mind. Your mind brought you to this atmosphere so you can breathe. If you're scared of breathing, you're scared of your own mind. And this is how the EUs, the racist religions that teach us to be scared of the air, are making money manipulating everybody's emotions. So Metatron created Judaism. It's impossible for Metatron to be anti-Semitic. All Jews are anti-Semitic against Metatron because they stole his stuff and then they lie about who actually created their math and their metaphysics and their mercury, their money, their masons, all that M energy, their men, talities. So Yahweh stole everything from Metatron. The white supremacist stole everything from the black supporter so that he can take credit and say that he made all of us. So now when we see that America is built on horrible rape, genocide, and slavery of indigenous peoples, this is why. Yahweh's mentality. So this is what today's episode is about. Because I grew up in America around racist white people who taught me I was white because I speak like this. And they taught me that black people aren't smart. They taught me black people aren't educated. White people worked really hard to use Yahweh to teach me that black people are retarded and meant to serve their desires. So when I can speak like this, white people, when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, I was talking like this. So white people were trying to tell me that I am white because I speak concisely. I can use English properly. You know, like this is how racist white people are. This is how racist Jehovah is. This is how racist the Jewish God, the Abrahamic covenant is. This is how racist it is. They stole everything from Atlantis so that they can teach us Atlanteans that we're not good enough to be happy alone. And that's where they rape us with their idea of one God, and they say it's impossible for you to be alone. And then they say that we don't have our own space, and all of our souls were made by one ego, and now we can only learn about our souls through the ego of white people raping us with slavery and then lying about our past and using our past to deny the past so that they can keep making money off of slavery while saying that they're good people. So this is the crown villain that we're all fighting. In the air, when we're breathing the air, people are scared of the air. We're really fighting white supremacy, and how white supremacy uses racist religions to make us scared of communication and the power of the mind, really. Because when we dissect these religions and we look at everything dealing with Christianity and Judaism, it's all mental slavery. That's why they support slavery. Because you have to be in the vibration of slavery to think that slavery is productive. So you have to be enslaved by a god in a certain way to then be convinced that enslaving people who do not agree in your idea of God is the New World Order justice, and this makes you a good white man. Okay, so this is the entire history of the English language. The only reason I'm speaking English is because they've been successful at using their racist religions to rape and erase the history of indigenous peoples, the history of ancient Atlantis. Yet they stole all this technology from Atlantis. Atlantis was using crystals to conduct energy into technology before white people were. That's why they still can't figure out how the pyramids were built. Okay, and this is why Facebook has changed its name to Metaverse. It took me so long to get into Facebook, by the way. They just want to steal our information. It's so crazy. I had to like put my ID in and shit, even though I already used the verification codes, but then they wouldn't text me it. So then they're like, you have to put your ID in. But then they had my number. It's my number in the account. So it's evil. The fact that they changed their name to Meta after they were outed for stealing all of our information and using it to make money and disrespecting our privacy is God showing me that they're weaponizing my truth to sell their lies. And only I can be here saying this now. Like, this information would not be on the internet if I did not say that Metatron created the metaverse. And that's Mercury holding everybody in the universe together, because the entire universe is like, this universe is in one big metaverse. So that's like the concept of a symmetry. So this universe is one big body of water separated by space from another universe. Boom. So think of your soul as its own universe. Your soul and my soul are separated by space. The only reason your soul and my soul can relate right now is because we've both built bodies in the same atmosphere. Okay, so this is how past lives work. This is what Metatron wants everybody to know. And this is how Metatron knows this is intentional. All this Plandemic stuff is very deep spiritual warfare. They've put everyone in the deepest state of fear because they weaponized all of my past lives to teach us that we only live once. I was taught my entire life that we only live once. It's only because I've been fasting so much and doing so much DMT that I am able to remember my past lives, go back to Mercury, make these connections. And now when I come back to Earth, I go on the internet and I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. So that's internet investigations. Because this shit's wild. Like, I have so many past lives and so much information that it won't make sense to anyone outside of myself if I can't connect it to the internet. So this is why I'm glad that the internet is real. I'm glad that I can be here as the spiritual Spider-Man, making connections no one can see, so I can build structures that no one would have ever built. And then this is how I support spirits that would have never supported me. And that's the concept of Mercury. Okay, so again, your Mercury is your mind. So this government wants us to use our Mercury to support them, but they don't support us. And we see this in the last 3 years of this whole pandemic and the huge economic shift in wealth and how they're killing people from the inside out by shooting them mandatorily and then lying about it. Like, it's... Let me breathe. Because like... Because literally, I could just go. Like, but I need to... We're going to relax. Because this spiritual warfare is just crazy. All right, but it's so intentional how these racist religions have stolen past lives, have stolen all the past lives of Metatron, so that they can build a metaverse to trap your consciousness. And that's why Facebook changed its name to Metaverse. This is their matrix. And I, as Spider-Man, am forced to say it. It's like a lot of responsibility on me. It's weird. It's fucked up. But I've been being prepared. All the fasting through these past years has been me going through my Enoch fasting journey, going through my Hermes fasting journey, going through my Odin fasting journey. Odin fasted 9 days to get powers. Why the fuck do I have to fast 40 days before graduating college just to even start getting acclimated to remembering all my past lives and making these connections? You know, like, I have to do so much work, but I feel like it's because the government has poisoned us so hard. I'm pretty sure it's because we've been getting poisoned since birth, and now I have to fast way more than I even had to in past lives just because the government is so evil. They specifically put a bunch of toxins, heavy metals, plastics, carcinogens, and extra gunk in my body from birth, and constantly by pumping their garbage into the air. Constantly growing up as a kid, I would wonder, why are we as humans why are we agreeing to drive cars that are obviously pumping poisons into the air? If you would not put your mouth on the end of an exhaust pipe, like, and let someone turn on the car, maybe don't let that go into the air. But this is white supremacy. They're just like, think like, oh yeah, it wouldn't be healthy if we directly inhale it, but if we just pump it into the air for centuries, we're okay. This is how the ego thinks. White people are so in their ego, they just separate what they want from what they don't want. They're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't want to breathe in the poison directly, but you can pump it into the atmosphere as long as we can act like it's not affecting us. So same thing with poisoning the water, right? Notice how this is the same government. They want us to constantly get shot up with the same pharmaceutical poisons that they're pumping into the water supply anyway. I have to use a water distiller here in LA to take out disgusting shit, horrible shit from my water so I can actually have clean water. I recommend a water distiller for everybody, okay? I was using a filter before when I was fasting. I didn't distill my water when I did my 40 days back in Chicago, but I had to use a water distiller now here in LA, and it's definitely better. So water distilling, important. You get just like straight water. And then once you get your real water, you can look in the distiller and see what gunk, earth, metallic sediments were left behind. And depending on where you live in America, it's going to be different levels of grossness, right? Shout out Flint, Michigan. So if God gave me money right now, see, like, I literally cannot afford anything in my life. Like, I'm so poor. I'm poor Peter Parker. I hate this. I've been working so hard to manifest money, and it's just, I just keep getting poorer and poorer. I get all this wisdom, I get all this knowledge, but then it's just, I get poor. I don't have money. Like, people just want to steal my information and take my shit for free and make money off of it. That's why I'm talking about this. That's what all these religions have done. Mercury has not gotten 1 cent, 1 fucking penny from how Masons have weaponized Metatron into the metaverse, okay? I'm a slave to the same system as everybody else. This is the circumstance that I chose to be born into, all right? So I have to recognize that, right? I chose to be a victim of a white supremacist government that is teaching me this is my first time alive. So that gives me, when I know that, right, when I do DMT and separate and go back home and I'm back in my spirit and I'm so happy I'm not Chase, then once I realize I have to go back, that's where I can take all that information and realize, oh, that's why I was born there. Wow. All that time in high school, all that time in college makes so much sense. Okay, I'll go back. Boom. And now I'm back. And now I can make way more sense of the internet. And now I'm here being Chase Calloway, the content creator, Trippy Trip C, Symmetry. It's all about the C. All right, so we talk about colonialism. We talk about climate change, Christianity, communication, creation, consciousness. What do you want to see overall? Yes, CC. So this is intentional. Okay, I'm saying all this 3 years afterwards because it's very clear that the crown villain, because we are not allowed to talk about it. Literally, they blast it on Facebook. They blast it on Instagram. They blast this Plandemic on YouTube through the news constantly, but then they'll take off the dislike button. People were disliking the absolute fuck out of all those news videos because people know this shit is fake at this point. Smart people. I get that there's not smart people in the world. And here's the thing. I'm not shitting on people who are scared, because when you're scared, you become less intelligent. And that's what this government's relying on. They want you scared of the air because that's how you become less intelligent. And now your mind is being controlled by whoever taught you to be scared. And that's how they play God. So no God would actually teach you to be scared of anything. My God doesn't teach me to be scared of anything. That's why I haven't gotten sick from me fasting for years. Fasting for years. I've been out here active with all the people in the air that's poisoned. The only poisons I have to detox are the shit coming out of our cars, the shit coming out of these factories, the shit coming out of these corporations, all the pharmaceutical poisons that they pump into the water, all the nuclear gunk that they put into our atmosphere. That's what I'm fighting against. But then they're trying to teach me, no, you're fighting against the new variant of the crown virus that you're not allowed to talk about. So fight against it by being silent, nigger. Literally, like, this is what they're doing to us. That's why my YouTube account got taken down. They literally just took my YouTube account down and they didn't even flag a video. They just flexed on me. They're like, hey, watch this. Flex. I saw that my YouTube account was gone. Heart drop. Boom. My emotions got manipulated by Masons. See that? So I, as Mercury, am having my emotions manipulated by Masons who are using money to steal my creations, to steal my creativity, steal my time, steal my wisdom, steal my information, steal everything from me. Now, the whole point of me being a space is that I can only let people steal what I choose to let them steal. And at that point, that's just, again, communication. So I'm not going to not be me, but this is a horribly disgusting, evil system. Beautiful world. Okay, that's where when people say, this is a horrible world. No, beautiful world. This is the best world. I fucking love this world. This system is toxic beyond belief. I cannot actually even believe how evil the Masons behind Facebook are. To steal everything from me and use Metatron's mathematics. See, when I say me, I'm alchemizing me Curie, Metatron. They both start with me. So God's saying no one but me can speak for me. So I gotta say me. But hey, don't look at me like it's an ego thing. Just think of the language. All right. I'm just using the architecture of this language. Okay. So when Masons steal from me, aka from Metatron, from me Curie, I am astounded by how evil they are. I can't imagine this level of evil. And that's what this business is about. We are decolonizing evil. That's what Chase Your Genes is all about. We are decolonizing evil in all forms. And now we can see the evil inside of ourselves. And this allows us to build a greater relationship with the evil inside of others. Because it's really easy when you get into some racist religion to project the evil inside of yourself onto others and then think when you kill innocent people, you're slaying demons. That's how all the Americas were created. Again, white people came here. Jealous Jehovah saw that Quetzalcoatl's family had all of this material that he wanted, and he convinced white people that these kind, loving, indigenous humans are demons that are meant to be raped and enslaved. And now we have all of American history. Racist religions have been making infinite money off of genocide. And this is why people support the military Martian industrial complex today, because they think that God is genocidal. So that's their idea of God. That's not my idea of God. When I go hang out in Atlantis with Mercury, with all the infinite individuals that I've created life with in the past and the individuals creating this simulation, we don't support genocide. We don't support trafficking. We don't support actively lying to your people in the intention of hurting them. Because here's the thing, we all have to lie. All right, so that's the point. I'm not actually Chase. I'm a space. The moment I say I'm chaste, I'm technically lying to myself. Okay, so that's why this whole life is like trippy as hell, because it's a fucking lie. Like all these lies that I had to decolonize with my space as chaste. But now I can see that even though I didn't pick the name chaste, somehow my spirit is in vibrational alignment with other spirits so that things synchronistically happen. And so now when my godmom names me Chase, even though I was named Clarence, now I'm Chase Clarence Calloway, your trippy tripsy psychedelic psychopomp, symmetry, it all makes sense. And now when I'm dealing with these cults of insane, just insane witches, I guess. Insane witches. When I'm dealing with these cults of really insane spirits that hate being alone, it reminds me why I am chased. They're chasing me. And now I'm forced to learn more about Mercury and how all my past lives have been dealing with being chased. And I have to protect myself from that. This is the point of Hermeticism. If you're happy alone, you won't chase me. Chase your space. Okay, so that's fasting. We are an anti-cult culture. Anti-cult culture. That's here. That's right here. That's me. Anti-cult culture. I'm creating my whole own culture here, and it is straight up about being anti-cult. All right? That's why we're cutting down all these racist religions, because they're cults. You have to be in a cult to be taught to be scared of cults. That keeps you locked in whatever cult taught you to be scared of people outside of your space. So we are an anti-cult culture over here on Mercury. All right? Now check this out. This is a post from 2020. And I'm about to have us look at a conversation that takes place between a white Jewish man and a Black Indigenous man. Okay, so I know I just like said a bunch of stuff, but that was me architecting our minds so that we can really be aware why Facebook has changed its name to Meta. That's the whole everything I just shared there. Why is Facebook harnessing Metatron's energy to make money as they run away from their past mistakes, as they don't take responsibility for their power? Because Facebook wants to make all this money, just like the white supremacist government wants to make all this money. These racist religions want to make all their money not taking responsibility for their power. That's why they haven't given out any reparations for slavery. They don't even acknowledge that slavery was wrong. They don't acknowledge that they broke every single treaty that they made with Native Americans. They don't acknowledge that they break every treaty that they make with black people overall. They don't really acknowledge that their entire empire is built by them creating contracts that they don't uphold. So us as a population, it's up to us to believe that they're going to uphold a contract that they're using to lie to us. That's the entire history of how white people have stolen this land so that they can teach indigenous peoples that we're from where they came from, that we're not American, we're from Africa, when really they came from Africa over to the Americas because, again, Jealous Jehovah wanted to take everything from Quetzalcoatl and take everything from Atlantis. That's why they've created white and black, to separate us from them, when they stole our shit anyway. So it's really one big circle for me as symmetry, but that's why I can talk about it intelligently. So, again, great power comes great responsibility. Because I have the ability to do this, it's sort of my responsibility to speak like this and build what I'm building. And that's my personal relationship with God, right? No religion would want me to make this video. No one outside of myself wants me to make this video. That's objectively true. So it's all up to the space inside of me. That's me as a space. And then that's me as an individual God doing what God called me here to do, which is bring Mercury to Earth. And God is all of our spirits working together. So that's why when you do DMT or you fast and create DMT to fly back to your space, that's you as God going back home and realizing why you wanted to create a body where you can share a human experience with other gods. So then this is where when you come back, you can see how everyone's idea of God is really an expression of their imagination. It's just that whatever religion they're in has trapped their imagination because that allows them to relate with people that they would not otherwise relate with. So that's every religion. That's why, like, you can have someone who has 100 different religions over the course of their life, and it's really one God having their imagination trapped by a bunch of different systems at a bunch of different points in time. So that's the matrix, right? So that's the whole concept. When these white supremacists teach us that the matrix is putting humans in batteries and harvesting our energy, that's how they view it on a spiritual nature. Trapping your imagination in a religion so they can make money moving your emotions here, and doing whatever the fuck they want with you. All right. So I shared this video where David Icke, I didn't know anything about David Icke, okay? But my friend, I had an indigenous friend, she sent this to me, and I was like, oh yeah, this is basically what we're talking about, because she and I were talking about basically everything I'm sharing here. So she sent me this video, and I posted this on Facebook. Of course, Facebook has here, false information checked by independent fact checkers. CY, that's the Masons. That's the Masons using their money to manipulate our emotions so that we don't know fact from fiction. But it's very clear that the crown virus, since I'm not allowed to actually say the real word, I have to make up my own words, but you know what I'm talking about, the crown virus. We've explicitly seen over the last 3 years how it has seized human rights and it has destroyed the economy. The rich have gotten infinitely richer and the poor are so much poorer. And everyone who could not afford to have a phone or be on the internet is dead now. Like, if you're not alive, if you don't have a phone and you're not plugged into the government literally got to kill you if you were a homeless person during this time, and no one's missing you. You're not on Instagram. No one sees you. Oh, you can't get on TikTok? We're going to kill you. We're going to harvest your organs. This is literally what the government's on. That's what they care about. There's so much dark, evil shit that they did when they kept us inside. It's disgusting. And then they're going to lie to us every single step of the way and shut us down on the internet saying, oh no, you're a liar. Cut them down. It's crazy. And that just shows us where their priorities are. If they really cared about us, this entire situation would be handled differently. For one, we wouldn't be cut down for talking about it. If this is really a real pandemic we were all going through, we would be allowed to talk about it because the government would be trying to get information from us as well. Like, whoa, what's happening here? We need to figure this out. But the government strictly wants to put out information about it and not even let us see the dislike button on YouTube anymore because they're pushing it out so much. So they're not trying to perceive a pandemic. They're projecting a pandemic. They've been projecting it constantly. They're not perceiving it. They're not actually perceiving anything organically happening in the world from us. That's why we're getting shut down for talking about it. That's why we're not allowed to see the dislikes on YouTube anymore. Because they're just projecting it. They're in full fire mode. New World Order fire mode. This is how they're weaponizing elements to make sure that we can only see them, but we can't see each other. So they want to put all of us in this internet box so that we all hop onto YouTube and see the news, but we don't see our next door neighbor, or we don't see real life people doing hashtag film your hospital. They took so many of those hashtag film your hospitals down. But those are real people looking at the news. The news says there's so many body bags. All these people are in the hospitals. They're dying. And they were real people, white people, black people, Democrats, Republicans, all across the nation going to that hospital, filming it and saying, hey, this isn't what the news showed me. The news showed me that there's a lot of people in here, but I'm actually down here and it's no one.
The news showed me that there's a lot of people in here, but I'm
Hollywood world. I'm literally in LA right now. Now people are learning about the moon landings being faked. Hollywood world. This is so wild. All right, so
I'm literally in LA right now.
This is a conversation that I had with a white Jewish man, and I am playing the role of the Black Indigenous Man. Now, this is somebody that I met at conventions. It's really sad. He has a black wife. So we're going to see how racist this white dude is. And we're going to see the sad reality of how so many black women right now are married to racist white men. And these racist white men want black wives because they view them as slaves and more submissive. And then it just allows them to exercise more racism in their mind against women who are destined to be submissive in a cultural sense because black people have been submitting to the desires of white people. That's why black people are asking for reparations from the people that they're enslaved by.
And we're going to see
and this is how white plays out the masculine energy and black plays out the feminine energy. That's why you should not let an evil banking system erase your actual culture with a color. No one is white and no one is black. White is the ego, black is the soul, and the mind is infinitely colorful. That's why nothing is black and white. The spirit is black and white. The spirit creates consciousness with the ego, the white, the soul, black. Boom. Now we have rainbow water. That's the mind. And then we build earth out of rainbow water. And then that's what matters. Now we're relating on what matters, which is everything that we're building right now. Every word that I'm saying is a piece of earth that we are relating upon right now. So
with a color. No one is white and no one is
clearly
black.
we all think
White
differently.
Is the ego, black is the
and
soul,
that's the power of
and
us
the
being
mind
able
is
to talk to one
infinitely
another. And
That's why
white people,
black and white.
the whole issue with white people is that they worship having white privilege. And having white privilege means that they need to deny the past. They need to deny the history of their culture. And they have to avoid taking responsibility for how much power they have because of genocide and horrible warfare and racism and all this stuff. So white people act like they're good people because that's how they get away with doing the most evil shit. And that's, again, America building its entire land out of rape, sex trafficking, stealing, and genocide, slavery, and saying, we're good men. We're actually better than black people. Black people are so evil. White people have been saying that black people are evil ever since they needed to enslave us and needed to steal everything from Metatron. So it's always been projection, but they're just so aggressive about projecting. They get to rape and murder black people and get away with it and actually build empires out of it, and no one cares, sadly.
So
I wish people cared.
like they're good people, that's how they get
But until we stop identifying as white and black, no one's going to care about black people. Because the whole energy of being black is that you're choosing to be a victim. And
saying we're good men.
that's how the government is weaponizing hermeticism against everybody. Okay, so check out Colorful Consciousness to get into the actual relationship of the colors and everything.
Needed to steal everything from Metatron. So it's always been
So this man,
but
a white dude, married to a black woman, sadly racist, but all white people have to function by acting like they're not racist. So do you know that when white people were enslaving indigenous peoples and black peoples through slavery, the actual centuries of slavery that built the empires of America, they were always saying that they're not racist. This is just justice. So when they kill black people because God commanded it, that's their racist justice, their religious justice, right? And then literally that's the Jews saying it's just us. Their justice is it's just us.
So
only we get justice. Only we get fairness. Only we get balance. We're going to steal from you because you're a slave, you're a nigger, you're black, and now you're evil and you're a demon in the eyes of Yahweh. So that's literally all Abraham's covenant. Literally, when you read Abraham's covenant, this is the foundation of Judaism. Abraham's covenant is literally the jealous Jehovah telling Abraham to explicitly use money to circumcise men inside the house and then use money to go to foreign lands and circumcise men outside the house against their will. So this is literally why white people, overall, the Jewish culture has created whiteness by circumcising men. So the white men who get circumcised, they're inside the house. But the black men who get circumcised, they're outside the house. So this is literally the entire history of why they've used slavery to make money for their religions, and they teach certain humans that they're white and certain humans that they're black. This is their Masonic operation. And then they view it like a chess game where they make money moving white and black people constantly. And now we have today's world where Black Lives Matter because they've stolen everything that matters from us. And they know that Black Lives Matter. Obviously, we look up in the sky is black. Black itself is the essence of matter. So obviously, but this is them weaponizing Hermeticism to make money, selling us lies, and then making us fight each other, because obviously that's what's been happening. So this is a conversation of this guy trying to fight me about how I am wrong and I'm evil for talking about the history of the banking system that has stolen all of my land from my ancestors.
Moving white and black people.
Pretty funny.
And now
so he starts out
today's world where Black Lives Matter because they've stolen everything that matters from us.
So
they know that Black Lives Matter.
This is
obviously
Danny.
We look up
Danny
the sky,
says,
the sky is black.
"This is the
Black
guy who
itself
started the
is
lizard people
essence of
talk.
matter.
Are you sure about this?" I reply,
Obviously, but this is
haha, I did see that. I haven't looked into it. I just know this interview specifically covers what is about to happen over the next 10 years.
This is a conversation.
And considering YouTube keeps deleting it, that censorship is interesting to me as well.
How I
Danny,
am wrong.
YouTube is demonetizing anything that discusses COVID-19 in an attempt to stop people from profiteering on the pandemic, which is wrong because obviously the news sites and the people who are profiteering on the pandemic are the ones constantly projecting it into the internet. That's why when I open up Facebook, I'm constantly advertised crown virus. I don't even think I'm allowed to say it. Like, I shouldn't say Lovid. I should say Shovid. Literally, like, we're not allowed to say it that hard. But they say it all the time. And then they take the dislike button off. We can only like it. These news videos will take comments off a lot of the time because they're in full projection mode. Just full projection mode. They're like, no, you're going to see it and you're not going to say shit.
Danny.
Like that.
YouTube is demonetizing.
So I'm sure Ike took his own video down claiming censorship because he couldn't get ad revenue or promote weird products with it. I reply, I just typed in crown blind peen to YouTube and I'm scrolling through endless videos about it that have hundreds of thousands of views each, so I'm confused by what you mean. His reply, those videos are demonetized, meaning the creators cannot make revenue off of those vids. Happened to Alex Jones when he was saying insane shit about mass shootings. And so he took down the videos he wasn't gaining money on, claiming YouTube censorship in a last-ditch effort to drum up hype around a narrative that was dying. But maybe YouTube really did intervene. Maybe YouTube took it down because telling people the virus doesn't exist is pretty fucking dangerous to do. See, so this is how white people fight for their government. So white people love to fight, and they love to fight against what they're taught to be scared of. So this is how they raped and murdered indigenous peoples, by putting on KKK costumes and then taking off the KKK costumes and saying, oh, we can't find who raped and murdered all the Native Americans. Well, let's just take their land anyway. We're the police. Again, the entire operation of the police right there, for real. But this is the problem. White people are not aware of this shit. Like, because it would be really hard to seem like a good person actively supporting the KKK stealing the land and resources that you're benefiting from consuming. But then you want to deny the history of how your culture has stolen everything that you have from the cultures that you're cannibalizing. So evil. It's just so evil. It's so wild. But then they work so hard to be appearing like good people. It's like, it's just even more meta-evil. Like, they're just like meta-evil. I'm so oh, all right, man. He says this guy is a career fabricator of random shit to be afraid of. Plus, he's an anti-Semitic bigot. See, so this is how the Jewish culture, they victimize themselves. So they somehow subscribe everyone's created by one God, and God made us the people to make money off of everyone else. But that's because we're the victims. So now when I go through the school system, I'm constantly taught about the Holocaust, but no one taught me that Hitler was only inspired to do the Holocaust because the Jews did way worse stuff to my ancestors. School didn't teach me that. God did. I had to learn that from God. So this is how they weaponize warfare to make money off of erasing the evil things that they had to do to even make their warfare possible. Because World War I and World War II would not have been possible if they did not do way worse shit to all the indigenous peoples throughout North, South, and Central America to steal their resources, to even have the ability to make money fighting in the first place. But then they teach us that we need to worship them because they saved us from themselves, when they really just put us deeper in this evil metaverse that they stole from Metatron. It's so disgusting. It's so sad. That's why my battle is bigger than him. That's why you can see I'm communicating on a level he definitely can't communicate with me on. And I'm building a structure out of that, because this is way more productive than actually thinking that fighting people face to face or having intellectual debates with people who aren't using their energy productively face to face is going to be good for me. That's me stepping down into hell. So no, we're not doing that. Instead, I'm gonna rein my brain down into a structure that makes sense. And now when people's consciousness is evolving, God can lead them to this video, and then they can expand with me through this meta conversation. Ooh dear, I haven't delved into him. I just know this video literally covers a whole New World Order that is written in Latin on a dollar bill that is using this pandemic as a way to enforce global 5G, poisonous vaccines, and martial law. Regardless of what's happening now in 10 years, everyone will be able to look back and see how this was part of what movies have been preparing us for. Which is, I guess, why I'm doing this video now, 3 years later, 2023. I'm glad that YouTube hasn't taken down the hashtag film your hospital videos yet. They have now. But maybe people are re-uploading them, but they've been taking them down, sadly. This guy may be a nutcase, so more perspectives are always important. See, so I'm trying to give him more perspectives. I'm trying to tell him, hey, it's not just this crazy guy. Like I said earlier in this video, there's a bunch of people across the nation who are not getting paid by the government, who watch the news, tell them one thing, but then in reality, they went to their hospital and saw a totally different thing. So I'm trying to point him to that information. But yeah, as I've been learning, people don't want to see what they don't want to see. Or how do I say that better? People don't see what they don't want to see. There we go. And that's basically what white people in their essence are, because that's the ego. Now, I see hella shit that I don't want to see because I'm not in my ego. I see so much shit that I don't want to see because I am not in my ego. It takes a white person being in their ego who just sees everything they want to see. And that's how they support slavery while saying that they're good men, good Mason men. Support slavery, rape, and genocide, and sex trafficking children, and doing horrible things to their families, and separating everybody, and lying about them, and stealing their history so that you can lie to them even more. That's what white people call being a good man. This is what the Ews and the Christons, the Ewish culture, call being good men. And this is how they treat indigenous peoples. They call us black so that they can erase all of our history, all of our past lives. And now they trap us in this one new lie, this one new life that they call the Matrix. And they stole it from Metatron. Retarded. Facebook is meta now. But again, I'm not getting shit from it. Actually, they're cutting me down. I literally would be able to make money. I would be able to make way more money off of my fasting courses. Like me teaching people how to fast. I was blowing up for that until TikTok took me down. And I haven't been able to grow since they took me down ever since. And Facebook has been suppressing my fasting shit. So overall, I've been getting cut down and silenced and suppressed by meta platforms. It's pretty whack being Spider-Man in this way. So I'm trying to be nice to him here. The Film Your Hospital hashtag has new videos added every day. I think you would appreciate them as some real citizen reporting. I'm trying to appeal to, citizen. Yeah. He replies, it's weird to be in agreement with the gist of what someone is saying while vehemently disagreeing on the specifics. See, because white people want to fight. He just wants to fight me and be racist. And we're going to see his racism come out. Global capitalism behaves in a way that could make this New World Order shit sound plausible, but there's no conspiracy, no organization doing this, nor is it 5G. See, so he feels like he as a white man can stand up and say, no one's working together. There's no conspiracy. People don't work together to build a banking system or put me through a school system or make the language that I'm speaking. There's no such thing as a conspiracy. This is all white supremacy. They deny what they're doing so that they can keep doing it. Obviously, individuals had to conspire to create Hollywood. People have to conspire to put movies together. Like, this is why white people have health problems. They literally are so in the camp of spirits don't work together that their bodies are fucked up. This is why they suffer from so many health problems. Indigenous peoples are not suffering from the health problems that white people are. And it's because of their disgusting racist mentality. Saying people don't work together. We're all being controlled by one God. Like, what are you like, this it's so crazy. And then they make money off of that. The idea that the entire world and all governments are wrong, but some scrappy randos with handheld cameras and hours of content on YouTube crack the case is silly as shit. It would take far more manpower and expense than conspiracy theories understand to even attempt a part of this conspiracy. So this is how white people just use their imaginations to create logic. And this is what we all do. So when I say white people, again, ego people. When people are in their ego, they just use their imagination to make up reasons why reality is not real. And everyone can do that. Everyone has that white person power. That's how people use their ego to ignore the reality of their circumstance and the world that they're in. They just use their imagination to make up ideas, and then they can just use that imagination to separate themselves from the connections that are actually real. You know, so I'm literally, that plays out elementally always, because everything's elements. And it doesn't make a lot of sense at the end of the day. If it was 5G, the conspirators would be irradiating themselves unless they live underground or something. It's just a virus. Literally, they said this virus, no, this a villain, this virus, this Cyrus, this Cyrus, papyrus. They're saying that this villain spread across the entire globe in 1 month. Literally, from December, well, basically like at the start of January 2020 to February 2020. That 1 month span, this entire villain spread across the entire world, and we all had to get locked down by the banking system. He literally doesn't see that Masons use money to manipulate our emotions. He just doesn't know that. That's why he can make up all this logic about how Masons are not using money to manipulate his emotions, even though that's been his entire fucking life. Literally. We have known about the possibility of pandemics like this for centuries. We just haven't done anything to prepare for this, and capitalism is ill-equipped to handle it. Made up stories. See how stupid that sounds? Can you see how stupid that actually sounds? We just haven't done anything to prepare for this, and capitalism is ill-equipped. But we've known about the possibility for centuries. Which one is it, you contradictory Christian Jew? You literally want to have your cake and eat it too. It's so contradictory. It's so insane. Have we known about the possibility of pandemics for centuries, or is capitalism ill-equipped to handle it? But you can't have both. But this is how they have both. This is how white supremacy works so hard to have both. This is how they make money using their power to manipulate us, but they don't take responsibility for the effects that has. That's why they don't care about slavery. They just make money off of slavery. They just transition slavery into what we have today, money. But notice how, because white people have all this generational wealth from raping and murdering black people and lying to us about our history, they don't have to work nearly as hard as us. And that's the whole point of white privilege. They get to enjoy all the benefits that their culture has stolen from our creations, from our space. And they invade our space so they can lie to us about our own history. And now the only way that I can protect myself as Chase is to make this video and to bring Mercury to Earth, so that now I can change the consciousness of people around me and everyone in the atmosphere based on who's ready to watch what, when, and where, why, bloody blue, synchronized shit. And now we can actually start getting along. Because The whole issue with Masons manipulating our emotions is that if we don't realize this, if we do not realize that Masons use money to manipulate emotions, we will always be a victim of Yahweh. That's a message from Metatron, straight from Metatron. Danny proceeds to say, there are groups of capitalists trying to loot what they can as the world falls apart, but there is no grand conspiracy to accomplish these things. And the very argument that there could be, I think, needs something more than breathless non-experts expounding upon what the lizard people guy is saying now. So again, white people literally want to deny the fact that their entire culture of white supremacy had to conspire to use Latin legal contracts to actively steal this land from the individuals that they demonize as black people now. Because do know when Jews call us black, to them, they're calling us demons. When they call themselves white, they're calling themselves angels of God. They're calling themselves the higher angles of God. All right, that's the white. The white is the higher angle of God, the imagination, the light. So when Jews call themselves white and then they call us indigenous peoples black, that's them practicing witchcraft on us. That's them teaching us that we're demons and that we need to support their idea of God. So now they're going to enslave us. They've been making money off of slavery and lying to us about how they enslave us. And it's just full gaslighting life. Spirits have been learning a lot in this simulation, though. I'll say that. Been learning a lot. All right? Been learning a fucking lot. Because this shit's evil and crazy. And all of us in Atlantis can see that we're not one God. It's the racist religions like these white people have that want to say we're all one God because they're not happy alone. That's why they invade our lands, steal everything from us, and then treat our cultures like costumes that they can wear. And now they put on blackface. You are, you eat. They eat black people. They eat their slaves, put on blackface, and then make money making our music. Just objective history of America. I'm not making this up. I wish I was, but this isn't even my fucking imagination. I can't imagine anything this horrible. Mercury's imagination is not Mason's imagination. Mercury likes to fight, but from a peaceful space, not from a chaotic space. Fighting is always meant to have a purpose. Fighting is meant to bring peace, like Dragon Ball Z shit. Okay, that's Mercury. Mercury doesn't just go out like, I'm gonna fight everyone. That's so fucking chaotic. Nah, Mercury would rather fight himself. Mercury will train with himself in a hyperbolic time chamber because no one's really in Mercury's lane. Mercury goes too fast as Sonic. All right, everyone knows this. So I enjoy fighting others because that's how we spar, like fighting Anubis. Shit's lit. And then we sit down and we eat together and we smoke. And it's like, man, I'm so glad you're my bro. And then we just hug for like 10,000 years type shit. See, but all that stuff, I can only experience that because I fast and I do DMT. And I meditate. And I'm in touch with God. No racist religion would want me to be able to hang out with my dog whenever I do. I'm able to hang out with my dog and go fight with him whenever I want. No racist religion would want me to be able to do that. So I'm on Dragon Ball Z shit. All right. And they stole Dragon Ball Z from Mercury. Zoroastrianism, Ahura Mazda specifically. So he's literally trying to say there's no grand conspiracy as he is living in the result of how the entire political atmosphere and the Masons behind it have conspired to teach him what conspiracy means. This is where like white people really just tweak me out. How can you be so contradictory? You would not know what a conspiracy even means if there is not a conspiracy behind your language and your culture. Every culture is created by cults. You can't spell culture without cult. So the fact that white people cannot actually identify the cult that they're worshiping means that they're going to demonize every culture outside of their own. And that's the whole point of them being racist. and they say that they're not racist as they do the most racist shit ever. I reply, considering countless videos are popping up every day of people literally showing that the 5G towers are killing all these birds in nature, while also filming hospitals being completely empty when on the news they claim to have body bags outside. Right, when on the news they claim to have body bags outside. Clearly the media and governments are straight up lying about this thing. People were sending me videos of how the 5G towers are dropping birds and wildlife dead. It's killing animals. Literally, I'm watching TV shows for predictive programming where they're saying that they're doing this. It's like the secret Benedict Society, where there's a whole agenda to control the world through 5G. And that's the whole point of the show, is that these kids have to stop this man from controlling the world through 5G. Literally. And I just watched this a few days ago, 3 days ago. I just found this show on Disney Plus, watched it 3 days ago. And it just came out like in 2020. So yes, this is what's it's just so crazy because they put it in our shows and then they're like, okay, so we can lie to their faces, but since we make it entertainment in the TV shows, now it's okay. We can keep going with the lie. You're still evil and lying. They're actively lying to all of it's so disgusting. And then the whole point is they actually trap people's imaginations because they want, when we say what they're doing, the predictive programming of putting it in shows is that white people who just think that this is all entertainment, they can easily say, oh, you got that from Westworld. You got that from Benedict Society. You got that from some TV show. You've been watching too many movies. But that's a projection of how they're watching too many movies, and they can't see that these movies are weaponizing the truth to sell them fucking white supremacist lies. Objectively. All these movies are weaponizing the truth to sell us lies. White supremacist ones at that. That's why the first movie America made was Birth of a Nation. The KKK are actually our superheroes, here to save us from the dirty demons that are the niggardly indigenous peoples. Those niggardly indigenous peoples, they're so stingy with their land, we need to rape them and lie about their history so we can be good white men. Literally, like, this is the objective history of the English language. Objective history of this English language. Objective history of the entire nation known as America and Europe. I mean, of course, I'm talking about America. Europe owns America. America came completely out of Europe to consume ancient Atlantis. That's why Europe calls America the New World, because it's new to them. It's the Jew world. It's like, oh, wait, we can be true Jews here. Let's take it over and lie about God. Boom. So now they've stolen everything from indigenous peoples so that they can say indigenous peoples were never here. Yet we can all see that that's a lie. Obviously, we are here first. That's why there's pyramids built by Quetzalcoatl, not Masons. Duh. But see, they're just going to keep lying despite the architecture, because that's their imagination. Their desire is to be us. And that's why they worship Jealous Jehovah. It's sad because they hate us because they ain't us. So then that's where they turn into, they hate us, so they ate us. And now because they eat us, they again put on blackface and feel like they can sell black culture to the world. And that's why the music industry is so fucked up now, because the literal history, the foundation of the music industry is white people looking at their slaves and thinking, if we eat these niggers, we can make nigger music too. If we eat these black people, we can make black music too. So when you see all this crazy shit coming out about the music industry, just know that that's the historical foundation, okay? If it was really so dangerous and contagious, Donald Trump and all those high-risk elderly politicians would not be gathering together to shoot crowded conferences every day. They would be in bunkers. If the government really was serious about stopping a virus that started from someone eating, then grocery stores would be closed down. The fact that everyone with coronavirus, with crown virus, with lound tyrus, with pound cyrus, with Obama virus, with the crown villain, considering the fact that anyone with the crown villain can come in and spit all over the produce I'm buying 2 hours later is just as dangerous as them coughing directly on me. See, and that's like the stupid logic of this whole pandemic. right? People are scared of catching a sickness in the air, but they're still going to the grocery store. They're still going to restaurants. People literally think that wearing a covering while walking from one table to another is going to protect them from a villain in the air. It's just imagination. It's made up. It's so horrible. This is so horrible. It's so silly. It's so made up. It's all these things, plus meditation, plus my historical knowledge of this corporation we live in. Not a country, a corporation. America is not a country, it's a business. That have me more than skeptical still. He replies, Danny says, ... This is silly, to be honest. Thanks for being honest. If it is 5G, why are we running out of ventilators? Literally. So he's just like trying to make me answer a fake question. Why are we running out of ventilators? Who said you're running out of ventilators? Like, that's a lie. Like, that's running out of ventilators. Like, that's the whole point, is to manufacture scarcity. This government has anything and everything that it wants. It pushes out the narrative that it's running out of shit so that it can make you take it more seriously. That's the same reason why, even though this government has all the food that it wants, it's going to manufacture food shortages. The same exact way that they manufacture any ventilator shortage or the fucking shot shortage. The whole point of them being like, hey, we're running out of shots, is so that they can perform the reverse psychology of making you fight for more shots. So now all the people are like, wait, we need shots. We need to, hey, give us our shots. That's the whole point. This is Masons using money to manipulate emotions. That's a song. I'm making this a song. That's going to have to be a song. Because this is fucked up. This is how Masons use their money to manipulate emotions. And then it's just all reverse psychology shit. And why can't you find a single medical professional who isn't on one of these videos already and can explain to us the symptoms of the virus, of the virus? I hate that I can't say the word because they cut this shit down and I've already been suppressed and cut down so much. The villain. This is crazy. This is crazy. So fucked up. With hospitals overwhelmed, for this to be a cover-up would require literally every medical professional of every hospital in almost every nation to be coordinating a cover story with zero leaks. But since reconciling that kills the theory, it doesn't. Again, slavery happened because people worked together to take away the rights of other human beings, you racist. I'm sure Ike and his buyers will find random dead birds and ring up the people who have been ranting about cell phones since the 80s to give them another gig talking about their concerns this time. If it is radiation, why can't anyone just measure that? There are literally millions of professionals across the world taking readings on radiation and temperature and pressure on all corners of the world every day. But this radiation permeates the planet. And only people on small YouTube channels and career conspiracy theorists are able to figure it out. There's no logic here. He's retarded. The logic is to make money enslaving humans in a fearful mentality. Duh, that's the logic. He's literally thinking that the big corporations that have made money off of slavery up to this point are gonna stop making money off of slavery. This is all slavery. It's a slave agenda. They put you in a state of fear because that makes you a slave to whoever made you scared, because now you feel like you need to do what the people who put you in the state of fear are telling you to do so that you can stop feeling fear. That's why we were all forced to stay inside, because we were all forced to abide by a large vibrational body of fear, because that's the news. The news is always projecting out fear so that it can control us, so that the people who, the Masons who use money to manipulate emotions, can use the news to be the muse that moves our fucking grooves. Literally. It's all the oohs, the who's, the J-oohs. Literally. This is how they make money, putting us in a state of fear and then manufacturing slavery out of fear. Because you can't be a slave to a banking system that is not putting you in a state of fear. So my entire life, I've been a slave to the banking system. I've been forced to go to school and learn this English language because they said that the government, the politicians, the president can make money raping me, killing me, putting me in prison, doing whatever they want, erasing my history, erasing me from the world if I don't follow their New World Order program. And that's why I was forced to go to school every day. Otherwise, I would have been killed and you would not know who I am. No one would care about me. And the New World Order would keep going on. I was forced to abide by a system. I was forced to support a system that does not support me. Because I can look back, literally, I have scoliosis because school forces us to sit down and look down all day, every day. We shouldn't be sitting like that. My caduceus is all out of alignment and fucked up because Masons forced me to go through the school system through a state of fear. A state of fear. My entire life has been me being in a state of fear. The only reason I'm able to get out of my fear now is because I've been fasting. And I can see very clearly how all the people in this universe are still super scared and in a big vibration of fear because they're not fasting. And they're not raising their vibration to literally separate from individuals who want to be called God. Because when I'm alone with God, God doesn't want to be called God. But God forces me to recognize that I have to be a God to have done everything that I've done in the past. But I don't want to be worshipped as a God. That's now why we can literally go look at the John Adams building, go look at Metatron's Mercury door, and see that these white supremacists have stolen all the past gods of Mercury to sell their Jealous Jehovah God. They're using all my energy, all of my truth to sell their lies. Mercury's truth, Mason's lies. And that's why Woden's Day is Wednesday. Okay, they literally are invaders and they're just using Mercury to make money because that's the vibration that they're riding on. That's the dick frequency that they're trying to hop on. I wish they would get off my dick, especially since they're rapists and they're not paying me. They're making money out of raping me esoterically, raping Mercury esoterically. That's, again, slavery. That's why I'm very passionate about black history, indigenous history. Because this is my family that they're doing these horrible things to. People of color are my family. And really, everyone's supposed to be my family. But the fact that these individuals who stole everything from Enoch and Metatron want to make their family superior by enslaving the family that they stole everything from is just so disgusting. And they're cut out. They're cut out. They're not our family. They're making it clear that they're not on the side of nature. But they're so adamant about how they are our family. They're like, no, we're the grandchildren of Metatron. That's why we deserve to make the metaverse. Literally, like, this is Jews. I own them. Like, on a metaphysical, spiritual, mental plane level, I own them. Everything that Masons have, every single M that they have, the whole concept of having an M is stolen from fucking me, Metatron. God is forcing me to say this. Sorry, not sorry. But this is, again, me as Spider-Man having to take responsibility for my power type shit. So I have the power to say this and make sense of it. And yeah, we need to all be fasting so that we can connect with our own spaces, with our own spirits. If we were all fasting, then we would all have our actually personal relationship with God. So when Jews and Christians, or when Christians are taught by the Jews to worship Jesus as the only true Son of God, that's them stealing all my past lives to sell to Christians that, hey, Jesus fasted so you don't have to. Hey, Jesus fasted so you can eat whatever the fuck you want. In fact, you need to eat Jesus. And now look at that. Now they literally put Christians in the vibration of thinking that they need to eat me, eat my family to go to heaven. And I had to fast to learn this. I had to actually walk the path of Jesus to see how people really think and feel about Jesus. And I go way harder at walking Jesus' path than Jesus did, obviously. I mean, at this point, the fuck, like literally I fasted way longer than even 100 days in the past 3 years since I did my 40 days back in college. Because then I was fasting through that senior year of college. And it's really just been on and off nonstop, alternating boom, boom, cycles of fasting. Jesus didn't do that, right? Jesus did 40 days, came back, and now he's a true Son of God, and everyone needs to make money worshiping him and feeling like a victim. That's Masons. So I reply, Here is the back of the dollar bill, Danny. Do you know what that Latin under the pyramid with the all-seeing eye translates to? We got a picture of a dollar bill. Danny replies, does a phrase on a dollar bill prove there is some organization running the world? I don't follow. Are you insane? That's so retarded, though. The whole point of the phrase on the dollar bill is to tell you who is bringing you the dollar bill. Like, that's how retarded people are. Like, that's insane. Like, that's really fucking beyond stupid. The whole point of the phrase on a dollar bill is to say, hey, this money's being brought to you by the New World Order. But somehow you're going to take this money and say, there's no conspiracy here. People aren't working together to make this money. What's this money made out of? A tree that was processed by machines? No, people didn't work together. This money just came out of the air. Literally, like, this is how white people think. They literally just think money came out of the air and no one worked together to print these bills. And like, these symbols on the bills don't mean shit. What? So fucking stupid. Like, oh my God. But I get it. People are taught to be this stupid. So it's like, it's just sad. Literally, he says, New World Order is a phrase. So he's just saying it's a phrase. It's like, New World Order is just a phrase. There's no conspiracy. Why do you feel like you're God? Why do you feel like you have the power to ignore the basic facts of the basic history of this world with your retarded imagination? Like that's just the ego. See, everyone in their own ego is God. Everyone's idea of God is their own ego doing whatever the fuck it wants at any point in time. That's why all these religions and all these people can use religions to fight each other, but say that there's still one God. The people who wrote that definitely did want a new world order under capitalism and Western expansion, manifest destiny and all that shit. See, so this is how white people justify their racism. They act like they care because they're kind of aware of the history, but then they use the past to deny the past. This is what white people do. White people love to use the past to deny the past. And that's the basic foundations of how they use racism to erase the history of the cultures that they cannibalize, objectively. And I do believe they believed in the transformative power of these words. Literally, he's like now trying to be like the transformative power of these words. Like trying to be like, oh yeah, these words are magical. The whole point of this language is that it was constructed by Masons who stole my math to manipulate your emotions, you dummy. Like, he's trying to say, well, yeah, I mean, we are speaking a language, but that doesn't mean people work together to make this language. They're actually, like, really weak. You're actually so retarded. And you're racist. It's so sad that you're married to a black woman. That's so fucking sad. Like, that's so, like, and this is how you think about black people. It's so sad. But I do not believe there exists anyone out there with a deliberate, premeditated plan to unleash the crown villain, let alone if the point was to weaken rather than unite us. Literally. So he literally doesn't give a fuck about all the YouTube shit and how all these people are being censored and how people who've been forced to get shot are dropping from heart attacks, but they're censoring that too. But he just doesn't give a fuck about all that. He's just going to use his ego to project out what he wants to see and make it seem like he's a good person. It's so stupid. This virus has, in a few weeks, devastated the justifications capitalists laid out for the cruel and destructive direction. Let me say this again. This virus has, in a few weeks, devastated the justifications capitalists laid out for the cruel and destructive direction they have steered the world. In the year to come, we probably are going to happen to make a new world order, whatever follows the decline of capitalism. See, he's just making shit up. Like, literally, this is him just making shit up from his imagination. He's denying the basic facts and history of how the government brought money into this land. He's denying the basic facts and history of how the government brought language into this land, but he's going to use the past to deny the past, because this is what white people do. That's why you can see all my past lives on the John Adams building, but the people who made the John Adams building are going to tell me that I only live once, and then they're going to kill me if I start to say otherwise. Because they make money using my past lives to teach me that I only live once. They use all my past lives to teach all of us that we only live once. Because that's how they make money, manipulating our emotions. Basic alchemy for them, I guess. Because if people knew about their past lives, they wouldn't feel like they need to get shot for their health. People would remember in their past lives, hold up, I never needed to get shot to be healthy before. Yeah, you never need to get shot to be healthy before. So if you think you need to in this life, that's a lie. And now it's really weird that when we call this life a lie, lie and life, it's the same shit. This English language wants us to believe in a lie. Life is a lie. And that's where when you know that all your past lives are connected by one space, you can actually see the truth. The truth is you have been lying over and over to the point where you have created the circumstance where your imagination is real. And that's why you can be here right now as a human using your imagination to express something that would be a lie but now becomes a truth. For example, it's technically a lie when I say I'm Chase, like I say. I am not Chase. I am a space. I'm not Chase. I'm a space. But because I have to believe that I'm Chase, now I have to believe a lie. And that's what makes me relatable. Woohoo. But it's nobody's plan, and it isn't radiation. And I'm not going to believe it is just because Ike is at it again and some others want to profit off of fear by making random shit up and cherry picking observations from the world to substantiate it. The entire government is using money to profit off of fear every day. We've been forced to go to school and we've been forced to go to college and forced to be in debt every single day because they profit off of fear. They put us in a state of fear and they make us think we need to be in debt so that we can work for them and then get out of fear, because if we don't have enough money, the people who use money to steal land from indigenous peoples are going to rape us, kill us, and then make money out of doing that. That's the fear that keeps people in school, that keeps people in jobs. But then he wants to try and project out that people who are saying we should stop being scared are spreading fear. Like, this is how white people twist shit so hard. It's so insane. It's so sad. My reply. So you're saying that money, which runs the whole world, just so happens to have the phrase New World Order? It's a coincidence that the founding presidents were Freemasons who were literally sent to the New World to create a New World Order? Literally, I'm just spitting facts here. Like, that's just a coincidence? The presidents are Freemasons to create a New World Order? Like, really? It's a coincidence that after the Civil War, European Freemasons and banks bought the United States and turned it from a corporation into a country? Again, it's still a corporation, but the point is we treat it like a country because we believe in a lie. Like, there's so many just straight up historical documents and facts that show that the United States was the start of Europeans creating a new world order. That is so funny that I put like and I typed out like. That's so funny. We use the filler word of like so much. You just type it out now. Like, it makes sense. To think that this globe is just happening when all the planet has been colonized by Europeans, all of it, Antarctica, all of it, then dang. All I can say is study history more and you will see how we got here and thus where we are going. The slavery and genocide of Africans and natives were and still is supported by scientists and doctors and experts. The slavery and genocide of Africans and natives were and still is supported by scientists, doctors, and experts. Again, everything here is a fact, and literally so many American and European politicians are quoted as being excited for pushing this New World Order. If you wanted to know, you could. How can a global high-tech 5G network be built, yet it's not anyone's plan? Like, literally, he just thinks 5G, like, these white people just think technology comes out of nowhere, money comes out of nowhere, and it's just nature, and people aren't working together to bring technology and money to them. That's so insane. That's like, this is why white culture is insanity incarnate. And until white people stop identifying as white people and they get back to their roots and they get into their spirituality, they're just going to be in full ego mode. And this is what's going to destroy the environment. People like this. People like the guy I'm talking to. People like just the white people I've grown up around. I literally grew up in an environment where white people make jokes about hating nature. And that's why these Masons use technology to destroy nature, because this is their mentality. They hate nature, but they need nature. So they want to consume us, cannibalize our creations, cannibalize our flesh, and then teach us that we're not creative and that we didn't choose to be here. So we have no option but to be a victim of their language. And thus the religions that brought their language into our land, into our cultures. By the way, China has already recovered and started again from the crown Maimhin, which should be impossible by all accounts. The eye on the pyramid literally symbolizes the elite big brother that rules over the rest of the globe through money. Come on. It's been centuries upon centuries of proof that this is the whole point. Even if this dollar bill logo is just a phrase, considering the constant colonization of the globe with the dollar bill and central banking system, the fact that there is a plan is painfully obvious. And then look, he literally tries to act a little spiritual. So this Danny guy, because his wife connected me to him, because she was like, she was listening to me talk about spiritual stuff, and she said, "Oh, my husband, he's into reading books about what you're saying." Yeah, all these racist white people are into Mercury. They're into consuming my knowledge, but then they're very egoic about it. They're into consuming my wisdom, consuming the teachings of Hermes, the teachings of Tahuti, the teachings of Odin, but then they get into their white supremacy about it. It's so annoying. I believe they were into magic and secret societies and shit. So that's just what he wants to throw out. I believe they were into magic and secret societies. And then that's it. What? I would even believe that they thought they were doing Illuminati shit. He literally thinks he's God. This is he thinks that he has the power of God to just say that they weren't actually doing what they are objectively doing. The fact that he can say the word Illuminati means that there is so much energy behind what that word means. They're a very real force in the universe. For him to feel like he can just say, "Oh, I believe they're doing Illuminati. I believe they think they're doing Illuminati shit." He's like literally trying to say that he can discount the entire history of the Illuminati. Are you fucking insane? Like, you're fucking insane. You're literally fucking stupid. Like, that's so retarded. When white people get in their egos, they will say the most retarded shit and act like they are the smartest men in the world. That's how we have climate change. That's why we have poisons in our environment and our bodies. See, look at him. He literally just said, "I don't think they were good at it though. And I don't think these conspiracies are possible." So that's him lying to himself. He's literally using the English language that was created by cults, by secret societies, by the Illuminati, to say that cults and secret societies and the Illuminati are not real. But he says, he feels like in his ego, he can say, "But I believe they thought they were doing secret society shit." Who taught you about secret societies? You loser. You are dumb. Beyond dumb. Who taught you about secret societies? You wouldn't have a concept of secret societies and magic if the people who made your language were not doing that shit and trickling the information through the words. Like, you're learning about the people who made your language. Like, it's just so... Okay, whatever, dude. It's just like when stupidity becomes this stupid, I become hysteric. Because, like, I'm really empathetic. So now I'm just like, how can you be this contradictory in your intelligence? Holy fuck. But this is Christianity. This is Judaism. This is the one true God. This is the Yahweh mentality. This is the ego incarnate. This is when you're fully invested in your ego, just full fire mode. You don't see anything except your own imagination and how you want to use your imagination to be seen by others. So that's how white people use the past to deny the past. They'll steal everything from my past lives so they can use their imagination to say that we all only live once. Disgusting. And so literally he only knows about cult shit because he has been reading on the internet and reading books about magic. But then he uses his ego to say, "I don't think they were good at that." Bitch, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Obviously, they're so good at it that they convince you to say that they're not good at it so that you can keep doing what they want you to do. So, cool. So he just says, "I don't think these conspiracies are possible for logistics reasons. The symbolism and mystical significance of what founders intended, that all makes sense to me. But I don't think they came close to succeeding at their wonky shit." He literally just said he doesn't think they came close to succeeding at erasing the cultures of indigenous peoples. I am Saponi and Catawba. If I didn't learn that from my family, I would identify like he wants me to identify, as a black nigger. And now as a black nigger, I'm taught by the same people who built these secret societies that he's talking about right now. I'm taught that I need to be a slave to the banking system. That would be my life if I was not in touch with my family on a spiritual, cultural level. These white people want to teach me I'm black. They taught me I'm black. They've been teaching me I'm black. And then they use this language of black to demonize me. He doesn't perceive that because he's on the white privilege side. So because he wants to ignore slavery, he wants to ignore the real world effects of genocide and stealing land from people that were very loving and generous. He wants to just make up, oh, the secret societies that I learned about, they weren't really good at that. That was just wonky shit. We're living in a utopia of my imagination. Everything's just kind of happening. Everything's just kind of, there's no people doing anything or organizing the banks. No one's really organizing these pharmaceutical companies. No one's organizing the fucking politicians. No one is actually really organizing or even creating definitions for these words. These words don't really have definitions. People did not organize and decide what connections make sense for us to communicate about. Everything's just happening based on my desire. That's white people. That's white people. That's how white people think. This is how white people act. And this is how white people treat black people so that they can make money off of slavery while using our past to deny our past. I'm in hell. Like, this is my ultimate hell, being here dealing with all this shit. But I had to talk about it. I had great power comes great responsibility, right? Got to talk about it. Got to talk. If I have the power to talk about it and I have the power to see it, it's my responsibility. That's what God's showing me, because no one is about to be up here talking like I do. So if I'm imagining how I could be talking and what could be being said, that's my imagination and that's my idea of God, right? So now when I express my God with other gods, that's how we do teamwork. So now you're an individual God. Every spirit is an individual God, making their idea of God relatable with spirits outside of themselves. So you're always going to have to be the God that chose to not feel like a God so that you can make God relatable. Because if we all feel like God, then we're all way too individual. So that's why we're all supposed to connect on being human. But then this is where really we're supposed to connect on being spirits, which as Chase, I say we're space. Okay? Your spirit is space. All right, so my space is completely separate from all spaces. And my space gets called a God infinitely throughout all my past lives. So it's only this life where people steal everything from my past lives that now the one true white man who made all of us supposedly forces us to call him God. And now we're all relating on the idea that we're being manipulated by one white man who's making money controlling our emotions. Masons use money to manipulate our emotions. That's God. Right? So your God, again, your God is your space. The space that you came from to bring you to this universe, that's your God. And then everyone that you want to relate with from there in your family, that's your pantheon of gods. All right? So that's Odin life, that's Hermes life, Tahuti life, any Quetzalcoatl life, any Itzama life, okay? All the past messengers of Mercury, pantheon life. It's all about us knowing that we are responsible for our own power, and we all have the power to express our idea of God. Therefore, we are responsible to express our idea of God. And that's clearly why this New World Order plan is working so hard to manipulate all of us on a daily basis. It's so terrifying. It's really horrible. It's really sad. It's really scary. They're evil beyond my imagination. It's wild. I can only imagine good shit. You know, like I can only imagine really good shit. Like when I'm dealing with evil people, that's where I know I'm not alone. That's where I know, like, oh shit, I'm not in my imagination anymore. I'm not on Mercury anymore. Where am I? Oh, I'm on Earth. Damn, Earth is way demonic now. What happened here? White supremacy happened. The Fire Nation attacked. That's what happened. So he just made up in his mind that white people didn't succeed at slavery or eradicating Native Americans from this land. So he literally just erased the entire history in his mind of how white people stole this land from Native Americans. He just wants to say that didn't happen. He's like, they didn't even succeed. They didn't succeed at stealing land from indigenous peoples. We were here first. That's his belief. That's literally what white people believe. That's why they can say shit like this. I reply, bro, they're so good at it that you simultaneously know them, yet you're using your incredible intelligence to convince yourself that they're not running shit. See, and I try to be nice to white people like this. I try to boost them up. I try to make them feel good about themselves, but they always just keep being racist and evil. It's sad. So I say he's using his incredible intelligence to convince himself that they're not running shit, when the only reason he knows about them is because they're already running shit from before he was born. Duh. So you think Hollywood is named that by coincidence? The magic of movies? The first movie this corporation of the US made was Birth of a Nation, a film that glorified the KKK as superheroes with masks and capes. This is still the most influential movie to date, and with the magic of cinema, the audience then believe that the KKK are heroes and should keep raping and murdering African indigenous peoples. Harry Potter's wand is literally made out of Hollywood too. Danny, come on. Radio, television, phones, and social media are all owned by these same people and used to control the audience, just like movies were designed to do. Literally just look up the Rothschild family. They literally have a central bank in almost every country on earth, meaning they control the money. Again, it's too obvious. It's painful. You can message me for the true information. There are countless recordings and documented factual evidence of the New World Order that is literally under the all-seeing pyramid on the currency that runs the globe. Studying world history is a true life hack to overcoming the present-day storm. I'm telling him, if he actually observed the objective connections in history, since he's aware of magic societies and secret organizations and the Illuminati, then he should actually see why they would put New World Order on the back of the dollar bill. He's so infinitely dumb to be able to be aware that cults made that money and put the symbolism on money, but then he uses ego to say they weren't successful. They didn't do slavery. Native Americans never had their land stolen by money. Literally, him saying they were never successful shows me how successful they were at making white people support rape, genocide, and murder and act like they're good men for doing that. This is so sad. It's also aggravating, but it's so sad. So look what he says, and this is what I'm talking about. Danny literally says, all right, the rest I can forgive because whatever. So everything I just said here about Hollywood being named after the Hollywood to manipulate people's emotions, and how the first movie they made was the KKK, Birth of a Nation, glorifying white people, raping and murdering black people. He literally just said, the rest I can forgive because whatever. That's what... I want to throw up. That's so insane. He literally just said, the rest I can forgive because whatever. So he doesn't give a fuck about the centuries of slavery, how white people have used money to manipulate black people in horrible ways for centuries. They've used money to steal indigenous lands and lie to us about our lives for centuries. He doesn't care about all that. He said he can forgive that. And I can say right here, it's because he's a white man and he enjoys the privilege of benefiting from slavery. This is why it's so fucking sad that he's married to a black woman. He's so fucking racist and disgusting. And it's so evil that he can literally just read all that and say, the rest I can forgive. He feels like he can forgive the shit that he was denying anyway. He was already denying the history of slavery and the history of indigenous peoples having their land stolen. That's why he said that secret societies were not successful at stealing everything. But then he's going to say, oh yeah, well, I can forgive that because whatever, but the Rothschild shit is anti-Semitic. And I'm going to ask you not to try to sell people on the idea that Jews won the world. One more time. The rest I can forgive because whatever. He can forgive slavery, he can forgive genocide, he can forgive the objective history of how white people have stolen everything from black people. He can forgive that as a white person, enjoying his privilege. But he's going to tell me that pointing out how these banks are owned by the racist religions that stole everything from Metatron because they want to be Jews, they want to be the Jews of Metatron, they want to use Enoch's math to build a metaverse matrix. They want to make their own Zion. He's going to say that that is anti-Semitic. And then he's going to tell me that I shouldn't try to sell people on the idea that Jews run the world. The only reason I identify as a black person is because Jews have used a racist religion to erase the history of my ancestors. And that's why they can make money teaching me that I'm black and teaching themselves that they're white and teaching me to call them white. And now I can go on Google and see that the entire justification for slavery is enforced by the Torah. Again, Abraham's covenant. Okay, so this is how racist white people are, that they want to ignore the basic history of slavery, genocide, and rape and murder so that they can keep acting like they're good people. Nothing's going to change like this. Nothing's going to change like that's so horrible. What a horrible, toxically evil man. But this is like how white people actively profit off of their privilege. Literally, they just actively profit off of their privilege. And now they can just say and project whatever they want while doing the most evil shit and getting away with it. Because they just say that, oh, the past didn't matter. The past didn't happen. The past isn't real. I can forgive that, but don't you dare say that people are using money to manipulate our emotions, because that's anti-Semitic. Like, you're the one saying that. I didn't even bring up their religion. I brought up the name of a family. The fact that you know this family and you want to say, oh, that family's Jewish. How dare you say that Jews run the world? So you know what's happening. You're just denying it. All because he wants to feel like a victim and then erase the actual history of the people that his privileged culture has victimized to make money. It's so horrifying. This is so horrifying. Oh, fuck. I am angry. Yo, my body could burst into flames at how angry I am. So I reply, you can forgive me mentioning that this country used Hollywood to immortalize the KKK as superheroes? Got sirens right here. Go KKK. Superheroes, save them. Obviously, the KKK doesn't go save people in black neighborhoods. We know that ambulances don't drive that fast to black neighborhoods. But of course, the KKK, they keep their own communities safe. White people got to protect white people so that they can keep making money, raping and enslaving black people, and then gaslighting black people the entire way through. Yay. So yes, I reply, I'm okay. Let's not get race involved. Emotions block humans from accepting facts. It's literally a fact, just like everything else I've typed here. Also, religion is not a race. The fact that I'm circumcised means that I'm a Jew too. Everyone, this is why we can't be anti-Semitic. See how racist he is? He's so racist, he's ignoring the fact that I'm a Jew. I'm a Jew. I'm Metatron, and I'm circumcised. I am Enoch. I've been fasting way longer than Jesus just in this life, but I'm chaste, so whatever. But I'm building upon Enoch's past life. I'm Metatron. I'm an aspect of Metatron. I'm the newest messenger of Metatron. I'm a Jew, and I'm circumcised through Abraham's covenant. I have physically been forced against my consent to sacrifice my flesh to this demon named Yahweh so that I can be seen as a Jew in white people's eyes. But guess what? They still don't see me as a Jew. You know why? Because they are racist. This is what Kanye's talking about. Okay? Because that's really what the Jew means. Like, physically, the fact that I was circumcised at birth by Masons who use money to manipulate my emotions. I was indoctrinated into Abraham's covenant against my soul's consent, against my will. So the Jews raped me at birth so I can be seen as a Jew. That's why in the Torah, the Torah says that the rabbi has to suck the blood out of a baby penis after they circumcise it. And if the rabbi does not suck the blood out of the baby penis, they are not fit to be a true rabbi in the eyes of the true God, Jehovah. This is Judaism, and this is how they come into the medical industry. They use money. They use Masonic money to manipulate emotions. And now they spread their racist religion through these institutions, and they call it science. Slavery was backed by the science of these racist religions, making money off of masonry. That's why we identify as white and black. Chessboard shit. So this guy is beyond racist. It's so disgusting. It hurts my soul. But this is the black experience. We support people who don't support us. Black people support white people, but white people don't support black people. That's why they need to make money cutting us down. But the only reason they're cutting us down is because they don't have resources of their own. So they have to go out of their way to suppress us so they can steal from us and then be seen as us. Ah! Yo. It's so evil. And this is why Facebook has changed its name to Meta. Because they're putting on the black face. They're putting on my black face. They're trying to look like me, like, hey, you can trust us. We're Metatron. We're just going to steal your information and trap you in fear because we're teaching you that you only live once. That's their version of being Metatron. Satan. That's Satan. That's Yahweh and Satan, same spirit. And this is exactly who these racist religions, the Rothschilds, that's who they worship so that they can make money weaponizing Metatron's math against humanity. So now no one knows about their own Mercury, but people know to uphold the government's idea of Mercury. Spider-Man. Sad. But this is their witchcraft. Okay, this is their witchcraft. That's why I'm here making this video. That's why I have to speak like this. So literally, I'm a Jew. Any man who's circumcised, if you are a white man or a black man and you are circumcised, you are a Jew. You are Jewish. You cannot be anti-Semitic. You are seen as a Jew in the eyes of Jealous Jehovah, of Yahweh. They want to cut me down and kill me for speaking this basic truth, but this is their religion. It's so fucking stupid and backwards that they circumcise us at birth just to still teach us that we're anti-Semitic. The whole point of stealing our foreskin was that we're Jewish now. We're Jews now. We are Jews now. We are the true Jew. The true Jews are circumcised through Abraham's covenant. And then they just turned that into science and said, oh, the foreskin is actually dirty. When in reality, their dirty minds are the ones saying that God made us wrong. If God is actually perfect, you would not circumcise children. Their dicks were already made perfectly. So now we can see scientifically the foreskin of the penis is actually meant to protect the gland. So the only reason we're circumcised by Jews is because they don't want us to enjoy sex, and they actually want to expose the sensitive head of our penis to the elements. When God, the real gods, whatever you believe, God made you as a man with a foreskin before some mason used money to take your foreskin for their own satanic purposes. Objectively. Like, no matter what idea of God you believe in, you were born with a foreskin before some Jewish mason used money to take your flesh and give it to their satanic system. Objectively, this is straight truth. There's straight facts. So God made everyone perfectly, which means that the foreskin is there to protect your penis from the elements. It's only people from outside of your space who want to rape boys and do evil, disgusting things to children that think God wants us to circumcise all the boys that we can use money to manipulate. It's so horrible. So everything from there, they just treat children even worse. We see how this religion treats children. The fact that Jesus is a child of God and he got killed by his own Jewish culture, that's how they treat the children of God. And that's what I've been going through as Chase. As I'm fasting, I've been dealing with this shit. That's why I like to take my Merkaba away from my body and leave this world, because this place is horrible. But now, when I come back to this world, I'm a little more intelligent because I'm a little more in touch with my soul and my past lives. So that's the end of this conversation. I sent him a resource. I said, how about men run the world? Oh, here we go. I say it's literally a fact, just like everything else I've typed here, that the Rothschild family controls central banks and thus the flow of money in almost every country on this planet. And of course, they're just a face for the people who don't want to be seen. But obviously, people are working together to make money matter. Money wouldn't matter if people were not conspiring every day. People have to conspire with each other to make money matter. What is the stock market? Like, people are just so retarded to be born into a system that was being manipulated by money before they were born, just so that they can believe that people are not working together to continuously make the system go where it was planned to go before then. That's just like so wild. It was obviously planned to go somewhere before you were born. So if you're born into the system, don't turn around and be like, oh, well, this system's actually, the conspiracies are fake. Oh, all that secret society shit is fake. You're using your ego to deny the past. And you're using your ego to objectively say that these words that obviously have meaning don't have meaning. I like, that's just so crazy that's white people power. This is the power that white people have, to use the past to deny the past. It's wild, but this is what they do. So it's not about race, but they just want to fight. Like, they want to fight so hard. And I'm trying to be like, yo, we should be working together. We should be in harmony with nature. But no, white people are like, fuck nature. Let's kill nature. Let's kill you. Let's rape niggers, kill Indians, kill black people. We're good men. That's why he doesn't give a fuck about black people. He just said it all here. That's why he said, I can forgive all that objective history, but don't you dare try to hold the people accountable. I can forgive the fact that this banking system has had the power to erase the families of Quetzalcoatl and rape billions of people across the planet and build an industry out of that. But don't you dare try to hold the banking system accountable, because that's wrong. This is white people's idea of justice. And that's why this language, they say it's just us. This is their power of saying, hey, this is just us. And it's so funny that I said this years ago, and now celebrities are coming out super hard about it. So I was right. I was correct. I'm like, celebrities are out here proving my point. It's just so funny, of course, how people will use the past to deny the past and just make up ideas so that they can ignore what's happening. But it's like, these words wouldn't even have power if the past wasn't real. So you have magic practice on you to say that secret societies were not successful. If you're speaking English and you have been working for money your whole life, secret societies were successful. You are in a culture that is being maintained and operated by a bunch of cults. The main cult being the Illuminati, as he knows about. But that's just one. That's just one of them. That's just like the big one that they want us to know about. But they have a Metatron approach to doing this because they stole everything from me. They stole everything from my past lives. So they want to hit everything from every angle. That's who Quetzalcoatl's fighting. I'm fighting all these evil Masons from every angle, trying to consume me, the one space, the one spirit. Fucking, I hate this shit. I hate this shit so much. Spider-Man life. So I say, how about men run the world? You can call those men ewes if you want, but don't put that on me. Literally. I'm talking about humans here. Objective humans working with other humans to make money matter. That's it. It's just humans working with humans to make money matter. All right? That's it. That's what I'm talking about. This link is a good start for you to learn how money runs the world. So obviously the people who own money run the world. The US dollar bill is printed on cotton picked by my ancestors who did not get paid, by the way. And he did not reply to that. He didn't reply to that because he's like, well, fuck you, black nigger. Literally. Like, that's what he's thinking. Of course, the whole point of white people having KKK energy, they kill kids kindly. All right? They kill kids kindly. Or their kindness kills kids. But the whole point is they're not going to say what they're thinking. But the more they talk, they show what they're thinking. And they show that they actively support rape, genocide, and slavery, and thus white supremacy, because it gives them the privilege of seeming like better people than they actually are. So hopefully this meta conversation was helpful for you. I felt very called by my spirit to get this out. This is important for us evolving the consciousness of the planet. And yeah, I just learned what a meta conversation was the other day. And I was like, oh, what? They stole that from Metatron? That's what we're supposed to be doing? Meta conversations? Okay, so we'll have conversations about conversations. And that's where we can just expand our consciousness. Because it's really easy when you're in a conversation, just one conversation, to get lost in that chaos. So this is why it's really nice that I can come back to this conversation, right? 3 years later, after my mind has expanded so much, I fasted so much, I've done so much fucking DMT and acid, but DMT, lit, so much. And again, you produce DMT when you fast. I've done so much of it both ways, fasting and smoking it, that my mind is so expanded. So for me to come back and be able to address this in a totally different way, but see where I was before, it's kind of wild. It's kind of nice. Like when I was typing this, I had no idea about my past lives. I was just chased at this time. But God was showing me that this is the truth. And this is facts. And this is what I cared about as symmetry. So now I can see that symmetry is building upon all my past lives. All my past lives are connected by Mercury. And now we have Metatron's many messengers of Mercury. And now we can see why Facebook has stolen everything from Metatron to sell their metaverse. And I'm over here. I can't afford my phone bill. I can't afford any bills. I literally want to kill myself. So I'm not allowed though. Each time I want to kill myself, I do DMT. I remember why I chose to be alive, and now I'm happy to be here again. So thank you, DMT. And this government is beyond evil for making DMT a Schedule 1 controlled substance when it is anti-addictive. Do you know that? It's not a drug you can be addicted to. They want us addicted to sugar and alcohol. Notice how they pump this shit into us. They want us addicted to poison. But DMT is produced in the body, yet they say it's a Schedule 1 controlled substance. And the reason why is because it would take you back to your space, and your spirit would be able to decolonize your mind and teach you about your own past lives. And you would be in touch with your soul. They don't want us to be in touch with our souls. They don't want us to be connected to ourselves. They don't want us to know where we're coming from. That's how they weaponize all this logic, all their racist religions, to force us to support a system that does not support us. And now we think that God is someone who created everybody, when really God is every spirit's idea of why they want to express their individuality. So you can't see my idea of God until I express my individuality. And then that's where the fact that we're alive right now means that I've been expressing my individuality in a way that supports people who don't support me. That's why Mercury is Wednesday. Mercury Day, Woden's Day, Wednesday, Simma Day. All right, Simma your trees day. So speaking of which, I'm going to go simma some trees and exercise, because I just got heated. I'm like, so white supremacy is so infuriating. It's so angry how they use ignorance to appear intelligence. They use ignorance to appear intelligent. They use ignorance to spread their intelligence. Literally. Like, that's all these racist religions have brought. They literally make it look really logical to say no one knows how the universe works. They just stole everything from me so that they can lie to us and say that no one knows. So now it's all about them making money off of Mercury, but they teach you that you don't know how Mercury works. So now I, as Mercury, have to come in here and be sacrificed to this system and support these people and be enslaved and go through all this fucked up life shit just so I can talk about how this system stole everything from me so that they can kill the environment and create a matrix that destroys nature, which no messenger of Mercury has ever been about. Atlantis is not about. It's so weird. It's so disgusting. So I'm out of here. Much love. About to literally hit this gym because I've been sitting here too long and I got energy. So peace out. Yeah.